If you don't know what happened back in Muhammad's time in Khaybar, is that a Jewish tribe in Khaybar refused to convert to Islam. So what happened? The army of Muhammad beheaded the men and took the women as slaves and did horrific things to them and the children as well. And now what they're chanting is, Khaybar, Khaybar ya Yahud. Jews, don't forget what happened in Khaybar. The army of Muhammad is coming back, presumably to do the same. So it was never about Palestine. It was never about Israel. It's about the eradication and killing of Jews. When will you understand? Hi guys, this is Sahar TV, and in today's video we'll see again another video proving that the pro-Palestine protests were never about the Palestinians. In this video we'll see Boris Johnson giving his 2 cents about this. Let's watch.
Boris Johnson, former UK Prime Minister, also known as the only man with better hair on television than I do.
Yours is far better.
Good to see you.
Leland, great to be with you again.
Thank you. I have a prediction about this peace deal.
Yes.
Is that it is going to lay bare the complete sham that all these protests were about starving Gazan kids, because we are going to continue having protests about killing Jews, even though now the UN says there's more than enough food in Gaza and we have a ceasefire.
Correct. And whereas the jubilation on the part of all the protesters, all the keffiyeh wearing middle-class kids, why aren't they out there celebrating this extraordinarily wonderful development, which is that after 2 really miserable years, we've got a deal between Israel and Hamas? Where's the cheering? Why isn't the BBC and the Guardian?
I'll let you answer your own question.
The answer is, well, part of the answer is that they can't stand the fact that this deal has unquestionably been brokered by Donald Trump. Would not have happened without Donald Trump, and that sticks in their craw, but also because they've just got used to, they've got an addiction to the bashing of Israel. And
is it the bashing of Israel, or is it the hating of Jews?
I'm afraid that the one has now shaded into the other. And look, we've got to hope now that because of what President Trump has done, and because of this deal, that slowly the poison starts to go away, and people stop feeling like this and stop expressing themselves.
Forgive me, I am not optimistic at all.
Well, it's my congenital disposition to try to be as optimistic as possible. And I think today, in the face of what has been done, we've got to try to see the upside here. There were 2 years of utter misery. The hostages are now going to come home, the remaining, and the bodies of the deceased, and Hamas. Hamas has had to agree some pretty
I agree,
or will do, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, no, it's a wonderful thing, and I think the deal is a good thing. But we're watching video from London that was taken after 2 Jews were killed in a stabbing at a terrorist attack, right? Yeah. At a synagogue on Yom Kippur.
Yeah.
Okay. There were groups marching through the streets of London chanting about the return of Muhammad's army that killed Jews back in the 700s. This is video, obviously, from the synagogue.
That's in Manchester.
The Manchester synagogue attack. What is, and you will just listen now to the chant so you understand what's happening in London.
If you don't know what happened back in Muhammad's time in Khaybar, is that a Jewish tribe in Khaybar refused to convert to Islam. So what happened? The army of Muhammad beheaded the men and took the women as slaves and did horrific things to them and the children as well. And now what they're chanting is, Khaybar, Khaybar ya Yahud. Jews, don't forget what happened in Khaybar. The army of Muhammad is coming back, presumably to do the same. So it was never about Palestine. It was never about Israel. It's about the eradication and killing of Jews. When will you understand?
That is the streets of London.
It's appalling.
That doesn't have anything to do with Gaza. That has to do with calling for the murder of Jews. And I say this really respectfully. What has happened to your country? Well,
look, I think we've got a situation that's been allowed to develop, principally by the Labour Party, that's completely, who now in control, that's unacceptable. I used to run London. I was the mayor of London for 8 years. and we had a very simple doctrine. You don't import onto the streets of London the tensions and hatreds of international disputes. We're a city that tries to bring people together. We never had stuff like that. And I think what's gone wrong is that the Labour Party, I mean, you know this very well, I'm sure our viewers know this, the Labour Party is now really, really terrified of offending its Muslim voters, and so they're not doing anything enough to calm this thing down.
We can also say that about the Democratic Party in the United States, and that is my question to you.
I don't know enough about the Democratic Party in the United States and what they do, but I hear there's in Michigan and stuff. There's some.
Well, Michigan, and you have a guy now who's going to be the mayor of New York, who is Hamas adjacent, or at least Hamas sympathetic. What is the warning to the United States about what might be coming? So
I think the warning to the United States is very, very simple. It's the United States, and why I admire the United States so much, and what I was trying to do in London, and what I tried to do when I was Prime Minister, because we never had this kind of stuff when I was Prime Minister. If you come to Britain, my great-grandfather, I think I have told you this before, was a Muslim, right? He was a Turk. He fled Turkey in fear of his life. He came to Britain in 1912. He came to Wimbledon. He set up a family there. In the end, he actually went back to Turkey and still got killed anyway. Got assassinated. But his family, his descendants, we assimilated, right? You look at me, you listen to me, you'd think he's British, wouldn't you? Mm-hmm. Yes? Okay? That's because. And that's what should happen.
Well, now
the beauty of America always has been that if you come to America, you become American, and you pledge allegiance to the flag, which is a great thing. I think do you still do that in schools?
Depends on the school.
You mean that's not mandatory anymore?
No.
I think that's a great thing to do. I think it's a really good, and I think we should have something like that in the UK. So when you ask, what's good, I think we need to do that. We need to have just be frank with people.
I'll explain what he's saying because he's not speaking very clearly, Boris Johnson. People who immigrated into the United Kingdom are not valuing the fact they're British. They're trying to bring their values that don't align with Western values into a Western country. Pakistani Muslims, Bangladeshi Muslims, and other immigrants who don't assimilate with the British population. That's why you had horrible situations like the grooming gangs, and the justification for it was they were white kuffars, slugs. That's the reason why they did it. So there's no assimilation. They don't become British. They bring their values from home and try to implement it in a country that they quite frankly escaped from because of these values. That's why.
When you come to a country, you should learn to love that country and its traditions.
100%.
And I think the anti-Semitism, violent anti-Semitism, is something that is absolutely despicable and is no part of the tradition of the UK.
Forgive me,
we should be calling it out, I don't.
Calling it out, though, isn't enough. And I say this respectfully to you because I think that, at least from my experience, the UK has changed, and the fabric of it has changed because the population has changed so much. This is a UK student being asked about Israel. Take a listen.
I think freedom will be achieved when the Israelis go back to where they were born, which is probably America, Poland.
So you mean leaving the state of Israel? Is that what you mean? You don't believe in the state of Israel?
No, I don't.
You don't understand why Jewish students might feel uncomfortable about that on campus today?
No, I don't. I mean, I understand why they might feel like that, but I don't think that their feelings are valid.
If you don't throw out the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Muslim immigrants who have no desire to assimilate to the United Kingdom as your grandfather...
You're talking to the descendant of Muslim...
Right, but I'm saying you wanted to assimilate. You wanted to assimilate.
What I'm saying to you, Leland, is that that girl is in total ignorance about Israel. It's a tragedy, a disgrace, what she's saying. Anybody who knows anything about history knows the connection between the Jewish people and that land. It's absolutely irrefutable, archaeologically, historically. That's it. And I'm a passionate defender and supporter.
Well, the only people who refute this are Muslims. Why? Muslims and, I mean, other people as well, but that comes from the influence of Muslims who spread propaganda online, like disgusting people on X. But yeah, that's where it comes from.
Of the state of Israel. And what worries me is that this kind of nonsense is being indulged by the Labour Party. So the current mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, who actually I think took over from me, but he's got worse and worse. He says, from the river to the sea is not an anti-Semitic thing to say, but ultimately it is. Because what you're saying is that the Jewish people is not entitled to a homeland, when it's patently the only place that they can have a homeland. And so, what is needed, I think, in UK politics is, and particularly in the Labour Party, because it's really a Labour Party problem.
Let me just bring that back to the United States.
We need to call this thing out. And what I hear, Leland, and I may be wrong about this, but I'm now hearing that even here in America, on the conservative side, some of the right, is that right? Some of the right-wing commentators?
There is some flirtation on the right.
Is there some sort of, what is that about?
Well, it's a problem. The much bigger problem is it on the left. And I guess the question to you is, what is your warning to the United States about what has happened in the UK in the name of tolerance? How does the US stop it?
By doing what the United States has always done, and that is believe in the flag and the great Commonwealth of the United States, and insist that people who come to the United States abide by American values and believe in American freedoms, because that's why they come. That's why this country is loved and admired. The US is loved and admired around the world. And you throw that away, it'd be a disaster.
It's a good warning.
Prime
Minister, good to see you, sir. Thank you.
Wise words. That's exactly the reason why we have what we have in the UK and what we have in France. People come, they don't have the same values, they don't align with the people who already live in these countries, and we get chaos. So unless we either deport those people who risk the well-being of the people living in the West, and I'm talking about Islamists. If you are a Muslim and you assimilate and you become a part of the culture and you contribute and you do everything legally, everything is fine. There's no complaints. The big problem is that a big portion of the Islamic community, Islamic is spreading Islam with violence, they don't align with it and they never will. They don't believe in being judged by or ruled by Christians. It just doesn't work under their belief system. Great words by Boris Johnson. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. If you'd like to watch more of my stuff, please check out my channel down below. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that notification button so you can be notified every time I upload new content. If you'd like to support me and the channel financially, you can do that using Buy Me Coffee or Patreon down in the links below. Also, we now have a Discord that you can join down in the link below. And now you can become a YouTube member and enjoy